Alright guys, so today I'm going to be showing you my eyebrow routine, and it's actually a very simple process, but it definitely takes some practice. And everyone does their brows differently. It's a very personal thing. So here is one eyebrow done, and this is my sad naked brow. But we're going to get started with a little bit of grooming. If you have unruly brows, then this step is a must. But I probably do this every 2 weeks or so. I'm going to be using this flat angled brush from Tarte, and it comes with a spoolie end, which I will be using a lot through this video. It's going to be your best friend. So taking your spoolie, you're going to comb through your brow hairs and comb them upwards so your hairs are kind of standing up. And doing this, you will see the longer hairs that stick out from your general brow shape. And I just take a pair of brow scissors and very carefully trim a tiny bit off. Don't go crazy with the trimming, you just want to make sure you don't have any gnarly hairs hanging out. And I'm going to repeat the same step towards the end of my brow. And I really don't want to trim off too much because I still want my brows to look full, and if you do over trim, you could possibly lose the natural shape of your brows. And now you just want to clean up the area by plucking any stray hairs or any regrowth. But make sure you're using a pair of really precise tweezers, which will make the whole process a lot easier. And again, you do not want to overpluck your brows, you're just doing a little bit of cleanup. And I'm just going to take a big, fluffy, clean brush to brush away any of those plucked hairs. And again, you're going to use your spoolie to comb your hairs back into place to make sure the shape of your brows is how you want it to look. Okay, this is the tricky part. Now we're going to draw out the shape of your brows with product, and I'm using this Tarte brow mousse with my flat angled brush, and I'm going to start with the lower arch of my brow, and I just use long strokes to create a smooth line across. Start off with a little bit of product at a time because you can always build this up, and don't worry about it looking too perfect because you can always clean this up. If you notice, I'm focusing most of the product in the middle of my brows because that's where they're naturally darker. So now I'm going back in with my angled brush to shape the top part of my brows, and I'm going to define my arch and fill in the end part of my brow. Now that I have the general shape of my brows, I'm going to start filling them in, and I'm going to make short quick strokes with my brush using whatever product is left because I want to keep the front of my brows looking very soft and natural. The very front part of your brows can always kind of be a little bit tricky to do. I always try to make it look pretty soft and rounded, so sometimes I will just take the spoolie and kind of comb it out or feather it out so it looks a little bit softer. You can also use your fingertips to kind of just blend that corner out a little bit as well. Once your brows are all filled in, you're going to comb through them again to make sure all the hairs are in place, and this will show you any gaps you might have missed, and it'll help blend out the brow mousse without adding more product on. So make sure to take your time to comb them through, and then you can touch up if you need. And now we're going to clean up the edges of the brows with this small concealer brush, and I'm using some foundation to define the edges a little bit. And you can also make your brows thinner or fix the arches by using the foundation or concealer almost as an eraser. Again, I want to keep it a little bit softer and more natural looking, so I'm just going to take my fingertip to blend out the foundation at the edge of my brows. And I'm also going to round off the inner corner of my brow just by tapping my finger onto the brow with a little bit of that foundation on. And then I'm just going to repeat the same thing to touch up the top part of my brows. We're almost done, so I'm just going to check to see if they look even on both sides. And as they say, brows should be sisters and not twins, so don't worry if they're not perfectly symmetrical. And I'm happy with the way they look, so I'm just going to set them in place with a clear brow gel by Anastasia, just so my hairs don't go all over the place. And one last optional step to perfect your brows, you can always put on a highlight on your brow bone, and this will really emphasize your brows. You can also use a light concealer for this as well, but I really like a matte highlight, and I'm just going to blend this out with my finger. Hopefully you guys found this helpful, and if you're a first timer at this, just keep practicing and keep trying out new techniques until you find something you're comfortable with, and you'll get the hang of it soon. But remember to subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!